you might see some changes going on. I thought today might be brought to you in high definition, but after an hour of troubleshooting, I'm not the guy. So
you're very determined.
Oh yeah, very upset.
You were very determined, and I just let you be, trying to figure out the whole setup here.
Yes.
We're close. We're really close.
We're close. So if you are watching, you know how to connect a Sony A7 III camera to your computer. Just kidding. We're going to task grab at that, and it'll be done by next time. So
yeah, we're not doing so bad.
No,
right?
Not so bad. Oh, we got our new sign in.
Yeah.
Excited about the neon. Yeah.
Last week we touched on AI just a little bit and how we incorporate that with our kids. So we're back at it again this week, and we're really going to dive deep into AI. And it's okay for those that aren't too familiar with what AI is. Maybe you feel a little scared by it, like no judgment on our end. We have been having fun with it and really using it to uplevel real estate and like how we can really maximize it and have it work for us. So
yeah, I don't think there's a day that goes by now where we're not incorporating it into either life or business.
Right. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
So if you're not familiar with what AI is, maybe you've heard of it. How would you explain it to someone that maybe is a little curious about it, but doesn't really understand the full scope of it?
Well, if you ever Googled something to get the answer, it's pretty much like your entire browser history of anyone who's ever searched for anything downloaded into a computer that you can continuously just ask questions to, and it'll always have the answer. Is it always going to be completely right? No, because there is some bias in there, but it is like an active being Google search.
When this first came out, was it a couple of years ago now? How long has it been? Do you know?
ChatGPT is about, I would say, a year and a half.
Yeah. How was it for you kind of getting started with it?
Super awkward. I didn't, outside of like, oh, I can now tell it to write a property description for me, which is just like the basic level of what this thing is capable of.
Right.
But yeah, definitely like didn't see the value in it right away.
Yeah. And did you use it for real estate right away, or were you kind of experimenting with other?
No, it was just like the real estate related side right away. And then as I started to play with it more and more, it kind of started to open up my eyes. We took actually a couple courses on it, and people were just going into what you can do. And that was fascinating, but I didn't necessarily still think like, this is amazing.
Right. Yeah. And I remember when it first came out, it was definitely like, what is this? Like what I was understanding was that, you can use this for anything. But for me, it was overwhelming just how you can use it. And there's so many prompts you can give it. So you've really taken it on to like experiment, explore. I am now at a better place with it, but you definitely have a lot more experience.
For sure.
So we're going to kind of put you in the hot seat and ask you some questions about it, and give us all like a great overview of AI and how we can harness it.
Fire away.
All right, perfect. So if you can explain how real estate professionals use it. I mean, I know you use it for not just your real estate business, but also, so many other aspects, but leadership, writing, standard operating procedures. How do you use it for your industry?
Yeah, I think one of the most profound ways that has saved me the most time, and if you're a realtor watching this, listen up, is home inspection reports, HOA documents, and any or other sort of report that otherwise looks foreign and really long. I have a super prompt if you're interested, DM me and I'll get that to you. But you can have it simplify the report, break it down completely, and then also, ask it to give a realistic idea of what these types of repairs, if it is a inspection, would cost in the county that you're in. And, from my experience, I've had a lot of experience with dealing with vendors. It is, I would say, within 5 to 7% of pricing. It's very, very accurate.
Oh, wow. And if this is a brand new realtor listening or watching, isn't familiar with how lengthy an inspection report can be, how many pages would you say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, average is like 40 pages. It could go on to 60, 80. It definitely just in 5 seconds will give you bullet points of what's wrong. And of course, I'm not saying like that I don't look at the report. Of course I do.
Yes.
But it just really helps to bring the major issues to light and help you too if you're not sure on how to consult, your client. This is another tool to kind of send them a report of what's going on.
Right. So what you're saying is this is another form of going on Google, but in a much more interactive way.
Specific, right? Because you can't say, hey, tell me about the home inspection on Google. Tell me about the home inspection at 123 Main Street.
Right.
It's like, and this is at the pro version, you have to upload the PDF of the document, put it in, and then it will analyze that. So, and this is just not real estate, right? If you guys are in a lawsuit or like need some kind of paperwork that you don't necessarily understand, maybe even an auto loan document, like whatever it is, you can use this to upload and have it contextualize the information in a way that you understand.
Yeah. And I love it because you use it as almost like a personal assistant as well. I've incorporated it in writing emails and even messages to clients that I want to make sure it kind of adds that personal touch, but also adding the very critical pieces of that conversation that I don't want to leave out.
Yeah.
And I've also heard other professionals in other industries definitely like taking advantage of AI and ChatGPT in their own business. So I'm a huge advocate for it, as well as I know that you are too. And I did want to share some key statistics on AI and the rise of AI and its importance. And in 2020, it was growing from 1.2 billion till now, 2025, it's at 10.5 billion. So
what's the metric on that? Like money spent towards? I'm trying to just understand.
The AI in the real estate market is expected to grow from.
I see. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I see it so much. And, if you're using the tool often, you can kind of see like who's using it a lot and who isn't. Sometimes I'll get emails that are like, oh, I know ChatGPT likes to say things that way. So maybe they're just doing an email for the first time or, didn't put too much effort into it. But yeah, I mean, I see it more and more. And I think if you're a realtor and you're worried about AI, like disrupting the industry, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Like there's personal touch wise, like you're just never going to have that experience with a robot that you feel comfortable calling and telling your concerns and it's going to, talk you through the tough times. That's not going to happen. And no one's going to be taking out robots to go, or the robot's going to take them out to go see houses.
I mean, who knows?
Maybe it can show them houses, but I can tell you what it probably isn't going to be able to do is like consult them, right?
Right.
And even if it could, who's going to be comfortable? You guys, you going to be working with robots? No.
Yes, I think it's important if you are feeling a little skeptical about this, about AI, artificial intelligence, that you embrace the pros and the advantages that it can have on your life and making it a lot more efficient, and also understand that nothing can replace the human touch and human interaction and, understanding complexities of emotions and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So with that being said, I also feel like, I touched a little bit on improving like client relationships and the communication there. Have you used it at all for that, or maybe or are you exploring ways that you can use it?
Well, our system definitely does do outreach. So, we have cold leads or leads that come into the system. And when I say leads, I just mean a person that is registered on our website and we haven't gotten in touch with them. And so we are using technology from AI that AI will text them and it will call them to get them just in touch with us.
Right.
So it has really helped to get us into more conversations with people because half of the battle in real estate is, getting on an actual phone call with someone. So that has, I mean, it's been amazing to see that work, because you can see where someone's actually having a conversation by text with the AI. And again, it's not meant to replace you. It's meant to initiate so that you can come in and take over the conversation, because it makes mistakes from time to time. But the point is, it got us into a conversation. And as realtors, that's really like the day-to-day is we got to have conversations with people about real estate. So
Right. And I will say that we also have automations that, like, we use automations to send, market trends and information, and that is all designed to engage the client and pique curiosity. And if they start engaging, then that's a sign for, us realtors to identify that and say, hey, this person's interested in something we're sending them.
yeah, and actually the AI is integrated in that too. So if they engage in something and they are classified still as a lead, someone that we haven't established a timeline for, it will reach out.
Right.
So
yeah, and I think there's also a really cool aspect of this, that as a realtor, to be able to get practice in with an AI, to make calls, that you can actually call an AI line that we have. You can, go over seller or buyer, kind of different scenarios it'll give you. And it's funny because when this first got rolled out onto the team, Justin was like obsessed, and we would be like on a date, and, you would be practicing with the AI, and,
it's not as bad as it sounds.
no, but like you wanted to show me how cool it was.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, that is great technology, but if you have ChatGPT Pro, you don't even need that technology. You can build it yourself. For instance, if you have a certain sort of person that you want to reach out to, you can prompt it by saying, ChatGPT, I'd love for you to help me to be a better realtor when I'm making outreach to for sale by owners or, expired listings. Please act as if you are an expired listing, and I am reaching out to you. I want to role play this situation with you. Again, this is just all you keep talking to it. And what's going to happen is it's going to give you some variation. You're going to notice a mistake and you're going to say, okay, don't do this. I want you to act this way. Now, if you don't have the knowledge of how to for sale by owner or expired listing acts, it's going to be a little challenging, but still it can do its best. And of course, if you're making those sort of calls, you can just keep that, hey, they said this was the objection I got. I want to incorporate that. Give me some suggestions on how I can get over that. And it just keeps working. It's a memory data bank, and you can go back at any point and practice with it. So I think that's just like, if you really are serious about getting better, it's one of the best tools I've found.
Yeah. And it's almost like consulting with another professional that is basically gathering data for you. And it ultimately is up to you to decipher that and
guide it.
Right.
Because it's not going to, again, it's not a human. So you have to say, I want you to give me these 5 objections and specifically list them out. Right.
You also have used this for when you are helping a client purchase, let's say, a condo or townhouse. You can plug in the HOA documents.
Yes, exactly. If you ever help someone buy a condo or townhome and it exists in an HOA, the HOA documents can be anywhere from 200 to 1,000 pages. And, there is a lot of liability if you're not able to interpret those. So I have another prompt for that. If you're interested, DM me and I can get you that prompt. All of this, by the way, I stole from Colton Whitney, who is awesome. So just want to give credit. And I'm sure he stole it from someone else. So, but sharing the wealth and using AI to help you streamline your business. Because I don't know about you guys, but reading over a 200-page minimum document is probably not the best use of your time. And if anyone has to do it, even if you're employing them to do it, there's just easier ways. And again, I'm not saying just press a button and expect you're going to get everything, but you could even say, show me where it is. If it says that the HOA is low on reserves, okay, show me what page I should look at to read more about the HOA being low on reserves. Boom, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're combing through trying to figure out, what's going on. Use the tech.
Yeah, I love it. I love it especially for leadership on our team. We've used it a lot to create standard operating procedures. We've kind of hinted at that earlier, but we use that for when we're guiding our virtual assistant on how to book open houses for our agents or to create some sort of marketing.
And it's just like you can really make it step by step to where someone just can't mess up. And so you want that prompt, it would be, please help me to create an SOP for booking showings. Step 1, they're going to log into the MLS and do XYZ. Step 2, they're going to, and just list it out as detailed as possible. And as soon as you're done with the instructions, start to finish, it's going to make it into a really nice format. And if it doesn't, you can say, please make it in a format to where I can copy and paste it, which is very viewer friendly. Right?
Yeah. And also, one of our agents on our team was reaching out about a certain project that he's working on, and you were kind of enlightening him on all the different ways that he can plug in information and
keep notes.
Right? Because like we're just, even for our open houses, we don't use a sign-in sheet. Like we're very much tech forward. And so we want to encourage the team to embrace that. And, it's hard for people to really like embrace and feel confident in it because it does feel like a lot of work at first.
Yeah.
But
just like anything.
Yeah. What would you say for someone that's kind of struggling with how to feel comfortable with using AI and prompting it? Because I've been there where I'll prompt it and then it gives me something just ridiculous, like not what I'm looking for. And then I will sometimes, decide to do it the longer way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just really, it's working with it. To the point of your first question, just try something every day. If you're normally going to do it the same way you did anyway, just, you can do it that way. See if there's a faster way and just try it. And to the second point, if it makes a mistake, that's okay, because you can guide it and say, I think you thought I meant this. What I actually meant was this. Or one of my favorite prompts for ChatGPT is when you're on a project is to say, ask me questions to help create clarity for you. And then it'll ask you more questions about what you're trying to do, and then it'll figure it out.
Got it. So you're really engaging with it.
Yeah.
Like you're not just telling it what to do, and then if it doesn't respond with something you like, you just give up. You're really working with it.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. And I think that's because I have a coaching mentality. That's where I come from. It's like I'm coaching the AI, right?
Right.
And I get the result that I want.
Right.
Which is ultimately awesome.
Yeah. Where do you get the tech ambition from? I'm curious. Where do you think that stems from? Or have you always been tech driven?
I don't know. I wouldn't say always, but it's definitely been something I've been passionate about. And anytime there's a new technology, I definitely want to be involved in it. I don't know. I would just say it's natural, I guess, because I'm in that.
Because you are a very creative person. You used to make music. So I know you're very familiar with
music software.
Yeah. And so do you feel like it comes natural for you because you've dove into stuff like that?
Maybe. All I know is that I think I see the value in making things easier. And the more I do things that could be done easily, I'm always looking for an easier way. And when I say that, I mean a more efficient way, right?
Got it.
Because it's just efficiency is everything. And if I have to service many clients, it's just if I get bogged down in doing something very slowly, then I'm missing out on opportunities to help more people.
Right, because time is money.
Time is money.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do a calculation, this is a calculation that I think is really valuable. All right, so if you haven't done this is something I highly recommend. And it's a way to figure out what your hourly worth is. And it's a simple exercise. There's about 1,920 working hours in a year. And so take your income and divide that by 1920, and you'll see kind of what your hourly worth is. And again, if you're not making the amount of money that you know you're capable of, then disregard. But I use this to kind of justify like, and I need to do it more because I was fooling with the camera for an hour, but to justify like, should I be putting time into this?
Right.
Or am I better served having someone else do this for me?
Right.
And if you enjoy it, great. But putting that camera together right now, I did not enjoy that at all. It was very frustrating. So
yeah, that's how, yeah, I've been there. Like just yesterday, actually, I was trying to figure something out. And you know, when you feel like you've done so much, but yet
nothing's happened.
nothing has happened. And you're just wondering, what did I do for the past like 3 hours?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. And that's, if you're feeling that way about anything, maybe you think about, can I outsource this? Can I use ChatGPT to help me here? Troubleshoot. And you know what? That's exactly what I did after, unfortunately, 3 hours. And I did it and it worked out. But had I not tried to like figure it out on my own,
right,
I would have got there a lot sooner. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not an overnight fix, but do that calculation. And I just highly recommend you do it so that you can kind of continue to monitor, like, is this worth my time? And again, you're passionate about it, then it doesn't matter. Like, just do it because it's fun.
Right. So we are talking about elevating your real estate business using AI. What would you tell a realtor coming to you for advice on using AI? Like, what are the 3 most important prompts you think every realtor should know?
Well, I would say this. We always talk about having 3 pillars in real estate, and when it comes to lead generation, you know, the most common is going to be something along the sort of sphere of influence, the people around you, open house, because it's just so easy to meet people and you meet people that are in the market, and then one other source that you're comfortable with. So I recommend that you identify those 3 sources and you tell ChatGPT, help me to create a business plan. I'm a young realtor looking to close more deals or looking to make X amount of money a year. My 3 pillars of business are X, Y, and Z. I have 40 hours a week. And if you're a part-time agent, say I have 20 hours a week to put towards this goal of making this amount of money. Help me to come up with a game plan and a calendar to time block my time and make sure that I'm getting things done. Now, that's the easy part, right? Because you can make it for you and you're all set and you're ready to go, but the execution is the next part of it, right?
Oh, definitely.
And so that's where AI really, you know, unless I'm missing something, can't really do the work for you.
No, it can't remind you.
Right. It might be able to remind you, but you got to be able to do the work that you're committing to. So that for sure would be like a great start for someone.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then, you know, one of the simplest things is having a social media strategy in play. And, you know, I think everyone is quick to just say, I tried it and didn't work. Well, if you haven't used social media constantly and been on a scheduled calendar to post for a year, you can't say that it isn't working because it's just not enough time. And so I would have it create a calendar of what type of, you know, I would feed it and say, I like to create this sort of content that is also connected with real estate. Help me to come up with a calendar, keeping in mind my 20-hour week.
Right.
So I
think this is something we can actually implement ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it is something that we are working on with social media.
For sure.
And the thing that gets in the way is time.
See, now we're being innovative because we can literally plug our calendar in.
Right.
And tell it, this is the calendar.
I am very, very interested in that.
See, this is what brainstorming does.
Let's do it.
Do you guys see like a cloud?
But we were also talking about how we've been planning and we just have been feeling like we're just running up against time. And I also think having this personal assistant, you know, AI be there in our corner and tell it all the things that we would tell each other about how we wanted the next month to look.
Yeah.
And, you know, our intentions behind it and really get granular with our details so that it can really help in that way. I also wanted to say that on TikTok, actually, in my algorithm, for some reason, I've been getting a lot of people using AI prompts in a way that I've never seen before. And I know I've showed it to you. So definitely explore. There are a lot of people really honing in on this.
Yeah, and I'll say that I think as this continues to progress, I think the people that are forward thinking and are learning how to prompt AI are going to be like engineer prompts, right? Another just crazy thought is like, I will always say to AI, help me to prompt you correctly. What prompt should I use if I want the end result to be X, Y, and Z? Like, you can ask it to create a prompt for it.
Yes. And you've also asked it to generate images. Right?
Yeah. So I do recommend, depending on what you're familiar with, I do recommend Gemini, Google Gemini for images. ChatGPT will make images and for PDFs and PDS and info stuff, really good. But if you want just like images, we've had some artwork up that you guys have probably seen, but you can have it create really cool artwork as well. Images are really fun. You can, again, going back to the kids, ask them what sort of image they want to create, and they could literally tell it everything they wanted. And
yeah, we've done that. It's really, really cool. Also, I know that we were talking about a potential business idea for the future, and you just whipped out these images and it helped to just bring it to life, when you have an idea, you want to do it, it's kind of fleeting when you don't think about it because it's not in your timeline at the moment. But then you see these images and you're almost, feeling more immersed in what it can look like. And I didn't even know that was possible until you generated those images.
Yeah. Well, if you're a visual person like me, I like to see, and imagine what things can be.
Right.
So having that is definitely important.
For sure. So I hope this was really helpful.
Yeah, hopefully you got one prompt, at least one good prompt out of this. But we're open books when it comes to AI. So if you want to know more about how we're using it, shoot us a DM, Justin Borges, LA Realtor, if I can remember this time.
Yes, and you can follow our podcast page on Instagram at the Borges Podcast. Follow and subscribe on YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And why don't you comment and let us know how you're using AI?
Until next time.